I come from the Kaospilots in the Denmark school. These are our social media you can connect to. And yeah, we're here for the Outpost. And I'm going to start with introducing you the first tool, which is called the I Do Art. And it's a tool that we use to design our meetings. It stands for intention, desired outcome, agenda, rules and roles, and time. And it's a really good tool to use when you're doing meetings with your projects and your groups, because it concretizes everything and clarifies what you're here for, what you're going to do, what the goal is with the whole meeting. So the intention for us being here today is to tell you about Kaospilots, the Outpost, and to share project tools. The desired outcome is that we have shared the tools for you, the participants, to use in your life, whether it's work, private, etc. The agenda, we start introducing Kaospilots, the Cape Town Outpost this year, and the tools. And the rules is that we ask for you to lean in, stay curious, and remember that there is no right or wrong. You can do whatever you want with what I say. And the roles are that I will be a facilitator, Cecilia will be support facilitator, and Henriette is support facilitator. And your role is to be learning social entrepreneurs, and the time will be for 1 to 2. So, to start with, what is the Kaospilot about? Basically, it's a business and design school located in Denmark and Switzerland in Europe. And in total, we have around 150 students with the 2 schools, very diverse backgrounds. We work with leading ourselves. You always have to start leading yourself in order to start leading others until you can start lead impact. And it's a very experimental school. We dare to try out different things, not stick to the conventional methods, but rather try things a little bit differently, work creatively. It's very enterprising. In order to make change, you need to act. And unless you act, nothing's going to happen. So this is one of the things we do to practice taking enterprising leadership, which is playing with Lego. Explorative. There's so much in this picture that you might not see, but if you go around, look at these things in the nature, wherever it is, in the urban spaces, in projects, you're going to find a lot. We need to explore and look deep into things. That's what we do. And we're also working with experiential learning by doing. And this photo, I think it could actually be from our leadership class, where sometimes you go through a nature leadership course. Wow. So learning by doing, that you embody your learning, is a very powerful thing. Because when you do that, something just happens and you have experience. You've gone through it once, you're going to be less afraid to go through it again. And it always starts with me. Like, who am I in this context? What am I contributing with? What skills do I have? Because the team is the key. If you have a good team, a diverse team, who know their skills and their different professions, or like the different things they can contribute with, then you're going to have a successful social entrepreneurship and project. Quickly to tell you about what we've done in Cape Town before. There was a team here last year, 2014, and one in 2013. And they started, co-founded 100 in a Day, which you might have heard about, which comes from Colombia originally. And one of the 3 core values that is integrated into that project is productivity, passion, and positivity. And it's something that we really connect to a lot, to create 100 interventions in one day around the city. And it's also important with the results that matters. Like, whatever you work with, when it's social entrepreneurship, as long as you make a person happy, you know that you're doing something good. And the more happiness you can create, and the more good change, the better it is. So it's important to go from me to we, to think of you and yourself in the context of your society, your project, your group, to go from instruction to inspiration. Don't follow orders, just take the initiative you see that you need to take Because if you do that, you're going to start inspiring others to take the leadership that you take. And to go from ordinary to extraordinary. Like, the more you practice, the more you do things, the better you will get. What we do mainly is, through our projects, we lead creative collaborations, which means that when we work with people, we really work with them. So we don't say hi, go away, and come with a result, but we try to work as a kind of a dialogue. You work with a person and talk together. And we do this by inviting on board, like asking the one we work with. So what do you intend to get out of this, for example? And what is your desired outcome? Because that creates a lot of engagement. And it can also happen that you find another partner, another team member, that it just connects to your dream and your vision. So it's important to be setting the direction, especially if you're on your own at first. If you set the direction, you can inspire others, and in the end you might be the one that leads the flock of sheep kind of thing. But also keep in mind that you need to be able to switch and be a follower sometimes. To start is always to get the ball rolling, because when you get that ball rolling and get the energy in the group, things will just go on and start flowing. And that's what we do through participating. When you participate, you create this energy. And yeah, go with the flow. Like, as soon as you get in the flow, go with it for a while. Because then you're gonna end up somewhere and you can learn from it. And that's also like, what if you end up at a dead end? It might be that you haven't been aware of your assumptions. Because a lot of times, a lot of people work with assumptions that this is what the person needs. But is it really? Like, you need to explore that. In order to create a good project, also keep in mind to focus on what gives energy. Like, is it laughters? Is it that people come on time? Is it that people do what they say they will? What is it that nourishes the project that you work with? And yeah, as with setting direction, you need to allow people to take leadership and celebrate them as well. Because if you do that, that's gonna create more initiative in the group. Share uncertainty. Like, we're all humans, we can all make mistakes. So share the uncertainty with your fellow group members and project members. Because if you do that, you can learn from each other peer to peer and see this person knows something from their background that I don't. So when we share that, we learn collectively. And lead from strength. Like, what is your passion within the project? What is that strength that you can connect to that keeps the motor running for you? I want to talk a little bit about the Kaospilot outpost in Cape Town this year. Why are we here? Basically, it's for learning in a different context and to come as close to reality as possible with this outpost. Because it's something about learning in a classroom, and it's different to learn out in the real world. Like, when you get out to a workplace, it's different from studying and being in a classroom. So when we learn, we have moved our context for this outpost for 4 months for this time that we're here. And it's quite different. It's a radically different context from being in Scandinavia and Switzerland. So it's very exciting, and we learn so much from it. And the how? Well, basically, we create a lean startup organization that can support us in the external projects that we do. And these are 12 local partnership projects. So in order to support these projects, we have 6 internal projects. For example, external communication, the ones who are here, and process consultants, which are also here. And we also have an organizational-wide project, which is consisting of, let's see, well, yeah. It's all of us who are here, the students, which are in total 48. And these are some of the local partnership projects that we're doing. We're working with Ubuntu Cape Town, Innovate South Africa, District 6 Museum, Outspoken Youth Initiative, Oye, Young in Prison, Macassar, Africa Burn Outreach Program, and Cape Craft and Design, and Once in Cape Town, the hostel. So it's a lot of different projects that we do, and it's all for doing social good and to do something creative. Yeah, so who are we? We're 48 passionate changemaker students, and we come from 11 different countries in total. and we're supported by 2 wonderful team leaders. So this creates a lot of diversity. And to give you an example, we will just introduce ourselves shortly, who are here today. I'm Matthias Excel, I'm from Sweden, and I'm former mailman and waiter at restaurants. Also been studying social science and environmental science. And I'm interested in everything with openness, like open source and open data, collaborative consumption, etc., etc. Yes, that's me.
Yeah, my name is Henrietta, and I'm from Denmark. And before I started the Kaospilots, I was educated as a dental hygienist from the University of Aarhus in Denmark, where the Kaospilot school is also located. And it didn't take me long to realize that it was not the right place for me. So I needed something more. I needed some real changes, and I needed to be able to create something different. So I joined the Kaospilots, which was a really, really good decision for me. And I think what I'm gonna do with it is to start up my own business at some point. Yeah.
I'm Cecilia, I'm from Sweden. I have a career in background in snowboarding, professional snowboarding. And I have had my 2 own companies, one in New Zealand and one in Norway. So I feel pretty old when I'm saying like this, I'm 27. And having my companies realize like, it doesn't bring me forward, like I can't really learn. So I found the Kaospilot, and it has been a good ride the 2 last years, and it's probably one of the best decisions I have ever made. Thank you.
So yeah, now we're moving into dynamic project tools. And the second thing actually, after I do art, is the check-in. And it's a really basic thing that is very powerful to use in meetings. Basically the check-in gets everybody on board, that you can hear everybody in the project at one point when you meet. So like this, for example, we would like to try out to do a check-in with you. If you sit in groups of 3, or if you sit next to someone, we'd like you to turn to those people, that person, and for 1 minute each, answer this question. What brought you here today? I'm gonna move on. The tool that I want to introduce to you is called the double diamond. So a double diamond goes like 2 squares like this. And it's basically 4 different phases, the 4 Ds of a project design phase. So what the different 4 phases are, either you can call them research, the second one insights, and then ideation, and then prototypes. But you can also call them discovery, where you really have to open up. You can't close down to anything, you can't go to any solutions or anything. You just need to open up, research, and you need to be user-centered, which means that you need to think about who are you trying to research for, who is your target, and also be empathetic. Like think about what is their feeling around it, what is it that they need. Ask them, preferably, like works directly with the end user. And then you go into the second phase, which is then called insights or define, where you try to define the research that you come to and the insights. So what kind of needs and values and touch points have you reached that is important for you to be able to find specific problems or challenges that you can solve. And that's where you go into the second diamond, which the first phase is called ideation or develop. And this is where you typically do, for example, brainstorms, which you then open up a lot. You don't say like, that doesn't work. I mean, if you can fire off a rocket, you can, because you're doing brainstorming. When you come to a point where you feel like, I'm out of ideas, I can't come up with anything else, I've been ideating for 10 years or something, I don't know. Then you close down, where you start doing prototypes, basically. And the prototypes are specific solutions, which tries to solve what you were finding here, being the problem, but also that you connected to these insights. And the whole thing is an iterative process. I hope you can see the arrows here that are going back and forth, because it might take I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4 iterations of this double diamond before you actually get to what will be the final product or the final service that you create. So in the end, you might have 8 diamonds or 16 diamonds. And it's a very powerful tool. So I would really recommend that you take this home, because it's a bigger tool. Take this home to your project, and please search for double diamond. It's a very good tool, and bring it into your project and think about that. Use it very concretely when you do a project and start your social business. And then the next thing we would like to introduce, the fourth tool, is an ideation tool, which is called Yes and. The basic purpose of it is just to help you be in the brainstorming phase of the project, where you can't close down and you need to stay open to all the ideas that you have. Because even the most extreme ideas that you have can somehow come into being a realistic idea. So the example we would like to do is just to share with you telling a story with the yes and, where we will switch. So if I start off with saying, this morning I went to have great breakfast at a cafe in Cape Town, you would continue with saying,
yes, and there was a beautiful lady walking down the street there.
Yes, and she had beautiful red hair, and she was really cool, and I started talking to her, and...
Yes, then she suddenly got hit by a car.
Yes, and she actually managed to survive. So this tool you use just to keep going and don't close down. We were actually thinking if you would like to try it in pairs or in groups of 3. And if you have a concrete idea, build upon it. Or if you want to tell a story, build upon that as well. And it's really important that you try saying yes and. Okay? So let's take 5 minutes for that.
I also want to remind you, one of the rules here that we started with I Do Art, there is no right, there is no wrong. So challenge yourself, how crazy can you go? Really, just say the most stupid thing, the first thing that comes up to your mind. Just try it and see where it leads you. Because it's about being creative. And when you're working with creativity, judgment is gonna kill it all. So get that out of your brains and start to do everything is possible. There is no failure. You can just go.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, go for it and have fun and explore with it.
Okay, so I hope you co-created some nice stories now with the yes and tool. We're gonna go on and introduce the 5th tool, which is called the game plan, and it's one of the most common tools that we use in the school, because it gives such a good overview when you do a project. I used it for one of my reports that I wrote, and I've been using it in group projects, such as our business project and process project. Yeah, you're gonna see it's really powerful. It's basically a big arrow. You start with your team to the left here, who are the people in your team. From there, you actually start with the mission, the vision, and the values, which are over here in the core of the circle. So what is the vision that you strive for, that you basically never are going to reach, but you really want to reach? And what is the mission? How do you get to your vision? And what are the values that you work with, respect, whatever it can be. And then you have your goals and the results. So what goals and results are you striving for with your project, with your business? And what is the desired state that you would like to be in? Happiness, for example. It's a very common desired state. And from there, you start with the different milestones and tasks and figure out what are the different milestones that you need to reach. Is it, for example, to finish a draft far before the deadline is? Is it to get feedback from 10 people on your report or your business plan? Is it to get feedback? Is it to research from the end users in in your project scope, and what are the different tasks that you will do. And then you have the success factors. Like, what are the success factors? Could it be that you get 10 different responses to your survey, or that you can interview 10 people for your service that you're creating? And from there, you also have the challenges, which we think of as mountains, because the challenges could be symbolically a mountain where you have to climb up the mountain in order to get down on the other side. And what are the different challenges? Like, is it that you have a challenge on waking up in the morning and getting on time? Or is it something with money, for example? Do you need to bootstrap your idea and really work with low budget? Or is it that you're alone? Like, do you need a team, for example? But then also, like, what supports do you have? What is up there in the clouds that can help you? Is it that you have a mentor? Is it that you have some kind of sparring partner, some kind of expert that you can talk to? Is it your team that is your support? All in all, this creates a really good overview for you when you use this in your projects, because it's easy, it's visible, and if you search for this online, there's going to be different variations, but they will pretty much all of them say the same thing as this. So we would like you to try this out. You've all received papers and you've all received pens. So if you would like to draw this, you get about 10 minutes to do this and figure out, like, what's your favorite project, like what mission and vision do you have, and yeah, follow this and we'll go around and support you in drawing them. Start with the vision and mission, then you go to the concrete goals and results with your project. Who are the people in your team, and what milestones and tasks do you have? And then what are the different success factors, these small circles down here, and the challenges, the mountains that you have to climb with your project. And in the end, what support do you have to finish the project the way that you would like to do? We're gonna introduce the two last tools very quickly. The talking stick. And the talking stick can be any piece of material that you hold in the group, and you use it basically to create a good atmosphere for dialogue, which is different from a discussion. A dialogue is where you try to build upon what people talk about and get the whole group's insights and learn collectively. So when someone holds the talking stick, it could be a pen, it could be a remote, anything, then you would listen to that person and keep your focus and listen deeply to what that person is. It's really important to do that, because when you do that, you really focus on what is the person actually saying and what do I learn from what this person is saying. And you don't cut off and those kind of things. It's a very good tool for showing respect to each other. And if there's a lot of people using it, if you're a big group, then you can also have a list of people who are going to hold the talking stick. It's a very good tool. And yeah, it's not something new. It's been around since native people were around, which is basically human evolution, a long time. And yeah, we're not going to try it now, but I really suggest that you use it when you're doing projects and having like meetings with your project groups, and you, for example, work with a tough topic or conflict or something. And the last thing we want to do is to round off where we started, which is not the check-in, but the check-out. This is also a tool for dialogue, where we want to ask you, what do you bring with you from today? We ask you to answer with one word, and do it shortly with the person next to you. What do you bring with you from today? You got 1 minute in total. Go. I just want to say thank you for listening, and please connect with us on social media and come by our space in Woodstock. It would be really great to have you over. You can connect with us through Instagram, web, Twitter, and Facebook. So thank you a lot. It's super great to have you here.